It is Sunday again, it is 3 p.m. again, and it is again time for Liberty Lockdown. Roll VT. So welcome church, perhaps it's your first time joining us for Liberty Lockdown. If you haven't seen the other episodes, then please go back on Facebook or YouTube and check out the first few episodes of the normal Liberty Lockdown on Sundays or our Liberty Lockdown challenge on Fridays. But first, straight into the segment of Just So You Know. So we have some good news. Last week you might have heard that Davina's father had gone into hospital with COVID-19 and other complications, and the good news is that he's doing much better, and we're hopeful that he'll be coming home from hospital in the next few weeks or so. So that is great. Thanks for all your thoughts and prayers for Davina and her family. News from across the pond again. Some of you may remember who I call the A-Team. The A-Team left our church a few months back to go back to the States. That's Adam, Ashley, Ariana, Ava and Orion. And we had a message on Facebook a couple of days after the plank challenge from Ariana, and I'll read it to you. She just sent a message saying, "Hi guys, I just really wanted to say that you impacted my life so much. I love going to Liberty every single Sunday for 4 years. I just wanted to say thank you to Phil and everyone else who goes to church there." And that's great, so we just thank you for your message. But she then decided she needed to put a plank challenge video on the message as well, and she absolutely smashed everyone, even my mum. I think she'd done 3 minutes 45. So at the minute, Ariana, you are our reigning champion of the plank challenge. Anyone else can do a better time than that, then please post it to me. I haven't seen anyone else who can do it. She didn't even look like she was breaking a sweat. Well done, Ariana. And if you watched last week, you might have heard that me and Steph were looking for baby names, boy or girl, because we are not going to find out what the baby is. And loads of you sent in lots of great names and some not so great names. And I told you that the one I like the best would win a Liberty Church mug. And so my favourite name of all the names that were put forward, and I love this name and I just can't get Steph to agree, but it is Willow. Love the name Willow. Willow Williams though, that's a tough sell. And so maybe that won't be the baby's name, but that is my favourite name that was put down there. And so you, Jade Cook, who suggested it, will win this lovely Liberty Church mug. Okay, so you can either pick that up next time I see you, or if you want me to post it to you, just send your address to us and I'll post that to you as soon as possible. Now over to some big news. Talking about the building last week, we put an offer in on the building, and the up-to-date news on that is, drumroll, is there is no news. We haven't heard anything back to date, and so keep holding your breath just like me. And so what I want to do for this last piece of Just So You Know is to give you an update about Food Bank. And so the latest figures for the last 12 months are that we provided 3 days worth of food for 4,145 people. That is amazing. Big clap to the Food Bank team. And I have to tell you that 40% of them people were children as well. And the big deal is that that is a 53% increase on last year. 53%, that is crazy. 53%, 53%, 53%. And so that works out at about 40,000 meals, or in weight, that's 26,700 kilograms. And to put that into monetary terms, that's about £47,000 worth of food. £47,000 worth of food! And that was all done by about 50 volunteers. And across the year, that works out about 3,000 voluntary hours. So I just want to say a big thank you and a big 2 thumbs up to the Food Bank crew. 2 thumbs fresh. So we want to hear your stories, either sending in pictures or videos or just letting us know what's going on, and you can send them into hello@libertycentre.org.uk. And that was Just So You Know. Now on to our next section that we call FAQs. Yep, every Sunday we're going to address a question that I'm asked as a church leader or pastor, or is asked of us as a church specifically. And this week's question on frequently asked questions is, what is the best and worst thing about your job? Yeah, I've been asked this quite a few times, but usually separately. Some people might ask me, what's the best thing about leading a church, or the best thing about being a pastor? Others will say, what's the hardest or most difficult thing, or the worst thing, or the thing you hate about doing your job? And I want to make it clear that Steph and I love doing what we do, but there are the best bits And there are the worst bits. There are the things that we enjoy the most and the things that are the most difficult. And if you take out the spiritual side of what are the best and worst bits of leading a church, of pastoring a church, and focus on the practical side, probably the standout thing, the thing we love and the thing we hate, is probably the same thing. And that is the working hours, in that there are none. You see, it's not really a job, it's a lifestyle, it's a calling, it is our life. And it really is a two-edged sword. It brings great flexibility in our life. I love the fact that Steph can go to work while I drop the kids off at school, and when I get back, we tag, and I work, and she does other things, and then we tag again in the day, and we swap over. It's really flexible. I can go to the shops, I can pop to the bank, I can help a friend out. It's one of the best things about the job that I do is the flexible working hours. Yet the same thing about these non-fixed hours means that at times I find it hard to switch off, to take a day off and to put the family first, to not be sucked into a potentially bottomless pit of work or of expectation. It really is hard to draw the lines in the sand. For instance, when COVID first hit, I'd probably done 4 weeks straight without a day off, averaging about 100 hours a week. And I know that's not healthy and it's not beneficial for me, my family, or the church, particularly in the long run, but on occasion, in some seasons, it's required. So the best thing about my job and the worst thing about my job is the working hours. And that was FAQs. And now over to our next segment of Love Thy Neighbour. Yeah, we just want to encourage you, church, to do random kind things. And this week we're going to do something a little bit different. I've been thinking about how much we hate being in lockdown. I hate it. I hate it. We hate it. And it got me thinking about what I miss the most about church service. And one thing for me was the live music. I really do miss it. It's just part of my makeup. I just love live music. And it really made me realise how grateful I am for the amazing band we have at our church. And particularly how grateful I am for the three fellas who run the music crew. And then I thought, well, they all happen to work in the same workplace. So I thought, why not love my neighbour? So we thought we'd show Matt and Glenn and Jack how much we appreciate them, how grateful we are for the hours and hours of work they've put in over the years, and show them how grateful we are and I am of them. Roll VT. So here we are at Love Thy Neighbour. We're going to put together a nice basket of goodies for Matt, Jack and Glenn with some superhero wrapping paper on it. Oh yeah, because they are heroes. So we're going to firstly go in with a staple, Coke Zero, in bottles, because Matt has a serious Coca-Cola problem. They're not going to go in first because they're not the right thing to go in first, because my wife told me that first we have to put in the jelly. Jack has got a serious jelly problem. It's inherited from his dad, Tony. They really love anything that's made out of the inside of cow's bones. Put that in the Coke can go in. Matt, I got you Zero because you're trying to look after your teeth because you're getting old. Pringles, once you pop, you certainly can't stop. So they're going in, one for each of them. Or some Krispy Kreme or Krispy Kreme, not entirely sure. There's three of them. In fact, my pregnant wife suggested that we take one out and eat one so they have to fight over them. We have some little cupcakes, because they're all little cupcakes. And particularly for Glenn, we have a family size Jamaica cake. Now I'll tell you a story about this. When he was a teenager, Glenn come to visit me in my office in our old church building for lunch, and he devoured a whole one of these in about 2 minutes, and I was surprised, let's just say that. And then he pulled out a second one. He didn't eat it because of the judgment that he saw upon my face. So I've given you two, Glenn. I'm not going to be in your workplace. You can bash two of these out in your lunch hour. Got some whispers. Shh. 4 of them so they can fight over them. Cat chunkies. I don't know why I'm whispering. Kit Kat chunkies. It's just to give you a little boost at work. Because they're called a boost. It's because they're called boosts. Double decker. Haven't got any puns about that. And of course, the staple of every. I'm just going to give these to my wife to open. A staple of every work environment is little bags of Haribo, and if I know my boys, they can give them out to the fellas at work as well, the people in their office and in the factory out the back there. There is enough snacks in there to last you at least a couple of hours. So we just want to say we love you guys, and we're going to go and sneak this and put this on your doorstep and run away, and you won't know it's us until you watch this video. Let's go. So we're in the van, going to drop off the box. Got a little note on there saying Matt, Glenn and Jack, enjoy from your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. My van won't start. Yay, let's go. So that's dropped off. How can you love thy neighbour? Laters. So come on church, how can you spread a little love in your neighbourhood, whether that's your friends, your family, people in your street? What gift can you give to brighten up somebody's day? And you know what we could do right now is in the comment section below, type something that you miss about our church. What is the thing that you miss most about our church? And perhaps as well, perhaps just for the boys, just let them know what is the song that you miss the most that we sing on a Sunday. Type that in the comments below and perhaps it'll be one of the first songs they sing when we get back together. Come on church, let's love our neighbour. Which brings me on to message 120. That's right, a mini message in 120 seconds. Ready? Go. My title today is Hateful or Grateful. Come on, let's be real. Nearly all of us hate being in lockdown. We hate the effect it has on our life. And I guess it's okay to not feel good about things that are not good. But we get a choice to be hateful or grateful. Because let's be real, we've got hundreds of things that we are actually grateful for in our life. And if you think about it, you better think of hundreds of things that you are actually grateful for. However, when an environment changes around us, we can easily focus on different things, on the tough things, on the rubbish things, on the things we hate. Just like this camera, it can focus on different things. It can focus on my face, or it can focus on the clock. It can focus on me, the big loud thing, making all the noise and taking up all the space in the foreground. Or it can focus on the things in the background, quietly in place, just being, not making a fuss, but always there. And during this time of COVID-19, it's too easy to focus on the things that we hate rather than the things that we are actually grateful for. Whether they're the things we can't have at the moment or the things that still remain in our life. Like for me, the thing I'm most grateful for is my family, my beautiful wife and kids. And it hit me the other day how overwhelmingly grateful I am for them. And I shouldn't just show it more to them, I should focus on it more for me. Because being grateful is a choice and we all have stuff to be grateful for. It's just whether we focus on it or not. Philippians 4:8 says this, and now dear brothers and sisters, one final thing, fix your thoughts, or in another translation says focus your thoughts on what is true and honourable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So I want to say, focus on what you are grateful for. Just like a camera, you get to choose what you focus on. So sure, you might hate some things about this situation, but I say focus on the things you are grateful for, because you get to choose whether to be hateful or grateful. And so that brings me on to the last segment of the day, Big Up. And so for this segment, I want to go in-house again today. I want to big two people up who I just think are fantastic. And that is two people from within our church. And that is Tara and David. If you didn't know, Tara is our food bank warehouse manager. I used to do that role a few years ago, but Tara took it on some time ago and is doing a fantastic job. And not only that, she's had to deal with the 53% increase, which means a huge amount more food coming in to the warehouse, having to be sorted and being sent back out to the distribution centres. You do an amazing job. I want to say thank you. Steph and I couldn't have done it without you. And the second is David Laughlin. He gives loads of hours, not just in the warehouse, but behind the scenes doing food bank admin. It takes hundreds and hundreds of hours behind closed doors of administration to run the food bank. And David has been a big help in doing that over the last year. And particularly lately, he's been instrumental in launching our e-referral system. All of our referral agents now, instead of giving out paper vouchers and giving to a client, can now do it over the phone or over the internet and generate an e-code, and they can bring that to one of our sessions to get food. David has spearheaded the rolling out of this e-referral system, and so David, I want to thank you for doing that on our behalf, on behalf of Food Bank, the referral agents and our client. We've been able to keep the service running because of you. So I want to say a big thank you to David. In fact, big thank you to both, to David and to Tara. And if you want to big someone up in our community or our church, then send the details to hello@libertycentre.org.uk. And so that was it for Big 'em Up. And so just to round up this Liberty Lockdown episode, remember church, it's Connect groups this week, meeting with your groups via Zoom or House Party or FaceTube, Book, Messenger thing. And also don't forget you've got access to Right Now Media. You can use that whenever you want. If you still want to give financially to the church, just do that on the website. And lastly, please remember, any news, please email me. Plus remember to comment what you miss most about church and your favourite song that you're missing at this time. And why not right now choose to be grateful over hateful and put in your comments the thing that you are most grateful for at this moment. What are you grateful for? And lastly, before I go, if you're watching on Facebook, then head over to our YouTube channel, subscribe, click on the little dingy bell so you get notified every time we upload our new videos, like on Friday at 7 p.m. I shall see you then. This has been Liberty Lockdown. Later.